Hey boys, how's it going? Welcome to episode 14.
Episode 14. Hey, you got to stop counting. What do you like? You're going to run out. You're going to stop. I know you're only going to get to about 25. You're going to have to take off your socks and shoes. It's going to get embarrassing at about 23, bud.
I can count to 21 because I have a hole in my pocket.
On that note, let's wind this up.
What you talking about? It's time for the show right now. Alex and Jordan break it down from the bezel to the crown. Every second counts, no doubt. What you talking about?
All right. Well, while we're counting to 21, it's good to have you with us live this week, Smartwatch Dick, once again. You are our guest this week.
Oh,
nobody else.
I love it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I mean,
Alex and I were talking, and with the number of watches that you sent us this week, it was privately we were like, Rich has the fever. We maybe how we should talk about a little bit of how we're perhaps converting a one watch collection smartwatch guy over to the bright side, not the dark side, the bright side.
Oh yeah, we'll see. It's still not looking good though, Jordan.
Well, stop looking at price tags. Stop looking at price tags.
I gotta say, you do have me a little hooked. I spend a lot of time looking at watches online, just trying to find stuff that I know you guys will appreciate. So, I guess I may be partway down the path, but I don't know.
It starts some way, somehow, and before you know it, you're sending your buddies watch pictures, but then you're actually like, oh, I really like that, and then you're reading up about it. You're looking at the bank account going, how cheap am I? Yeah. And then you go to a watch show in September, and all hell's going to break loose.
And you start floating out test balloons with the missus to see if you can get that PO, So you're like, well, what do you think? This watch is only $400. And you wait to see what the reaction is on 400,
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I'm not saying we're going to get you. I'm just saying it's looking like you might, if I was to just guess, it's looking like
we're going to get
like
you.
You're slightly interested, buddy.
Well, I got to say, as I've mentioned before, coming up in a couple of weeks here is my birthday. So if anyone wants to get me into the watch in business, I mean, I'll accept anything as a gift. I'm not picky.
Anything. Oh, well, how do you feel about wooden quartz?
Oh, not a fan. No.
Well,
no.
God dang, can't even give those things away.
2 wooden quartz.
I did put the battery in the other one and it works. Yeah, they both work. Yeah. They both work, so yeah.
You're really selling these. They both work.
Yeah. Not only are they for sale, they are working.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. A deal for anybody. Working.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
we got you. Yeah, we got you live here this week. I guess we should wind up this Smartwatch Dick segment and see what you got for us. It's been a couple of different weeks for us with guests, and you just joined the show with Thomas. So we didn't really, I'm scared of what you may have found over the last few weeks. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely. Hit my music.
Nitpicks, corrections incoming with Smartwatch Dick.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
I love it.
Smartwatch Dick is on fire today.
I might be having way too much fun.
Every day.
I just need to have a couple coffees and go. That's the trick, right?
Yeah. I got to hold still over here. I keep moving out of my own shot.
I do that too. I keep shifting around. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I can't sit still. It's all the cocaines.
Cocaine.
The coke cans.
Cocaines, yeah.
I like the cocaines.
Should have seen the size of his cocaine.
Somebody told me a story recently about getting offered drugs in a tropical country, and the guy offered them fresh cocaine.
Fresh.
I thought it was a dry good. I didn't know it went stale or anything.
Nice. All right. Okay, let's do this. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Fuck, okay. You want?
Did you spill it?
No, I locked my screen. hit the wrong button.
This is the best episode of all. No edits here. Just let her play.
Edits. Just let it fly.
You fucking hilarious.
Put up the director's cut to this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
Definitely.
Excuse me. All right. Okay. Let's go.
Compose myself.
Composed. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, guys. So like you said, Alex, been a couple episodes. You had Jason on a couple weeks ago, Thomas last week. And the good thing, like I've said before with guests, is there's often not a lot to nitpick. I did come up with a few things. So let's roll the first clip.
You know, I'm sure everybody knows, but I'm sure everybody doesn't know that the El Primera movement was the original, Rolex Daytona movement. So that watch is very, very important piece of history.
I'm just going to speak for the everybody doesn't know group. I don't know. I don't know that, Jordan. I'm sorry. Do you have any more information on that to help us out, us poor people who don't know stuff like that?
Yeah, Jordan.
Okay. Hold on. I just got to mark this for next week's segment.
That was almost mess. That was almost a mess. Oh man. Well, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't remember all the development details, but I do know that, if you look at the original Daytona, even before they said Daytona on them, actually, they were, Cosmographs at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Even before I think they had Oyster on them, before they were waterproof, they were using a Zenith El Primera movement. Chronograph movements are arguably one of the most complicated things to create. So not everybody has one in their arsenal. In fact, Tudor's chronographs are based on Breitling's B01 chronograph movement. So this is a fairly common thing in the watch industry.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Well, there we go. Now everybody knows.
Yeah. The original, and here's a little mission for you, Smartwatch Dick. The original chronographs might have been kind of like couple different watch companies getting together and sharing technology to make it happen.
Okay. Interesting.
So
interesting. Okay. No, I appreciate that. Because like I said, I'm sure there's other people watching who are in the same boat as me who don't have as much knowledge as you guys do with stuff like that, especially the history and who makes what. We learn the big names and stuff. And
well, and being a little bit presumptuous that if you're watching us two duds, you probably have some watch knowledge, but I shouldn't be maybe so presumptuous.
Fair enough. All right. Well, speaking of presumptuous, this one is actually a Jordan self nitpick. Last week he was looking for a word and couldn't find it, but I managed to find himself correcting himself previously. So I suppose it's kind of an inception of Jordan.
But that's kind of what I try to do, is I try to just educate myself on topics that I'm not familiar with, or maybe I just want to learn even more,
Yeah, there's a big fancy word for that. I forgot what it is. But,
I don't know fancy words.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm not going to try and say it, but I said it properly in the episode when I was in Belize.
I learned a new word from Kurt Spenrath this week, and he used the word, get ready for it, so I'm going to have to, it is autodidactic is the word I learned this week. And literally, this guy writes stuff on my Facebook page. I have to Google it to see what it means. He's like a walking thesaurus. But what autodidactic means is something you take an interest in and go out and pursue and learn yourself. And I'd say definitely when it comes to watches, you and I are autodidactic. So there's the word of the day for you.
All right, so there you go, Jordan. So a self nitpick, if you will. It was a new word to me too. I've called you guys a lot of dicks before, but not autodidactic. So guess you got that going for you.
I love how you brought it up. You're like, I don't know the word, but I know a word that would be perfect right here.
Yeah. I heard a word once.
If I hadn't done so many bong rips and concussions in a misspent youth, I would know this word that I went into detail about less than a month ago. I'm cool like that.
So good.
Nice. All right. And you know what? Just pretty much one more. This isn't really much of a nitpick, but let's see what we got.
I could be wrong, but I believe that Rolex actually has a quantum physics lab. And they actually just made a big discovery in quantum physics here within the last few months, or announced it. So that's, Rolex, people don't realize that Rolex, there's some scientists working at Rolex, not just a bunch of watch guys. They have a whole scientific lab working in there.
Yeah.
And it's something to do with like time and space. I apologize. I wish I could remember off the top of my head.
You know what?
I think you did pretty good, Jordan. I mean, really, time and space, that's close enough, I think. But it did get me down a bit of a rabbit hole researching this a bit. So basically, Rolex started up what they're calling Rolex Quantum SA. They're working with the CSEM, which is the Swiss Center for Electronics and Microtechnology. And what they've done is basically made a better atomic clock. It's not really going to have anything to do with watchmaking. The smallest prototype they have, I think I read, was 48 centimeters. It's almost like a small microwave, the size of the thing. So
Alex, 48 centimeters. Alex would try and pull that off.
Right? It's right up my my lane.
Yeah,
here.
you could slap that on your arm. But anyways, yeah, so I did a bit of research, and basically what I don't know what people know about atomic clocks. I certainly don't know a whole lot, and I'm probably going to get nitpicked by someone through the email if they do know a lot about quantum physics and stuff. But basically,
Get him. He has it coming, watchers.
Most atomic clocks traditionally used cesium-133 atoms, and basically they vibrate in a microwave field, and they're measured by electromagnets, and they basically count the number of oscillations of that atom, and atoms are super predictable. So based on that, for years now, I'm going to have to read this because I couldn't remember it, 9,192,631,770 oscillations per second, or hertz, is officially 1 second. So they used to use the Earth's movement, but the Earth shifts a bit, so they couldn't actually have a second. So they measure that number of oscillations, and that number doesn't change. What Rolex has done is they actually went from cesium-133 years ago. Some companies went to a product called, let me find it here, I lost it, rubidium, instead of cesium.
Good old rubidium.
Good old rubidium. Yeah, the best. And it's and they've been measuring it with lasers instead of electromagnets because they're a lot more accurate. But what Rolex developed was a secondary laser. So even though it's so precise, the laser will get out of whack a little bit. So the main laser is called the interrogation laser that's counting. Rolex invented a mitigation laser that comes from the opposite angle and actually adjusts the direction of the regular laser, the interrogation laser. So these watches are accurate, these watches, geez, you guys are in my head. These atomic clocks are accurate with a deviation of less than 300 picoseconds over a week, which translates to less than a 1 second drift over 100,000 years. So they're super accurate. Like I said, it won't be in watches. It's mostly for like GPS, telecoms, aerospace, and lab applications. So yeah, I learned a little bit about atomic clocks. A lot of it's probably wrong, and like I said, shoot me an email. Everybody's got my email address out there. It's not a mystery, so correct me if you'd like. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Jordan. I appreciate the chance to read some stuff. I'm autodidactic about it, if you will.
Nice. Well played, sir. You know what? I'm really excited you actually dove into that because it's, that's the kind of stuff that interests me. I can nerd out pretty good over things like, you kind of lose me at the word quantum on a certain level. I don't want to pretend to know what all that is. Having said that, it's wildly interesting to me that a company like Rolex, who, could solely focus on watchmaking and what they're doing, keep doing what they're doing very well at the way they do it and not bother doing anything else. But the fact that they invest in something like quantum physics to create better time-telling devices, whether it's a watch or a clock, is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, as far as nitpicks, that's about it. I got a couple other things. I want to give a shout out to a couple of our watchers. Southport 771, who's a trucker who for some reason decided to binge all of our episodes. I don't know what's up with that guy. That seems crazy to me. I mean, I think we're entertaining, but I don't know.
That person's of questionable character.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then actually another trucker, Oakley Hopper driver 6940, who him and his wife are coming to the Vancouver Timepiece show from Arkansas. So hopefully they can track you two down and get a picture.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would
you
be
guys
fantastic.
You can make him Instagram famous.
Yeah, and he did leave a message the other day on YouTube that because we were kind of going back and forth about like what watches do you bring to a watch show, and he did leave a message saying that he got the call, and so or something along that lines, and so he mentioned like what did he have to maybe get rid of to go and, pick up the watch from the call. But yeah, so I just left a comment saying, I love the tease and I can't wait to see what it is. I hope to see it at the Vancouver Timepiece show. So that's wicked.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And any
Yeah.
watchers that are at that show, track us down. Alex is very approachable. I could be a little bit like a wild dog. Like if you have some food or something, I'm cool, but otherwise you might get bit. So yeah.
And I got to say, they're going to be easy to find because I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but it showed up in these clips I played too that for some reason, I don't know if we're doing subliminal merch, but these guys have been sporting these hats for like 3 weeks now and not a peep, not a word. Are they for sale? Can the watchers get them? Are they just for you guys? Do I not get one to cover up this shiny head? Like, what are we doing here?
First
We
of all,
are
look
the
at the sweep.
kings
I
of
should have been a hand
self-promotion.
model.
Yeah.
I don't even know how this
The,
works.
the problem with self-promotion is you also have to promote yourself to others, though. You need to let
Oh.
others know you're promoting.
Oh,
I go
so I've
with
been doing
the
it wrong.
Stuart. I go with the Stuart Smalley self-promotion in the mirror. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like me.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Jordan.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for pointing that out, Smartwatch Dick. We do have new hats. All thanks to Alex. He put in a lot of work, kind of getting these designed and ordered and stuff. Not something that's necessarily for sale at this point, just because we're not that arrogant and we don't think that much of ourselves. Having said that, if people are interested in the hats, we'd have no problem putting in an order and getting a handful of hats, and we'd figure out how to get them into your hands. But so if you watchers are interested in some, couple of young guys down on their luck starting it out, some merch, then by all means throw us a message and we'll make it happen for you somehow.
Well, and I heard a rumor too that there might be some stickers floating around the Vancouver Timepiece show too. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on a few ideas here, and hopefully, like the guy's been saying, come find us at the Timepiece show, and hopefully we'll have a few little stickers or something to hand out as well. And just be great to meet everybody. And yeah, we're working on some stuff. And we'll try to remember to even bring them and actually hand them out and talk about things. And
And
Stuff like
if you're
that.
super nice to them at the Timepiece show, they might even buy you a watch. So definitely track them down.
Nobody's that nice, Smartwatch Dick. Nobody is that nice.
All right. Speaking of watches, you guys, what do you got on your wrists today?
Oh, he's hitting us up for the wrist
See,
check.
I'm trying to keep the show rolling. Feels like we're getting off the rails here, Jordan.
This is what happens when we don't have a guest.
I knew we shouldn't have brought you here, man. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'll go first because it's going to come up a little later. Today I am sporting my Zelos Comet. This is a very nice thin dress watch. I got it on a Strapsco beater ice bracelet. Wow, I'm wicked at this. Yeah, you can see it's quite thin, tuxedo dial. This is a fantastic little piece. I got it in what I'll call a scratch and dent sale. I think it was a warranty piece that had been returned and repaired, so I got a pretty good price on it. So this is actually something in with the perhaps with the 2 quartz wooden watches. I kind of am considering selling this watch because I originally have it as a dress watch, and I think I have another dress watch that I'd probably wear more. So I am considering moving this piece, but it's a great little work watch too.
So for the uninitiated, tuxedo dial, is that very, very specific, or is it anything black and white? Does it have to be the white with the black center, black numbers? Like what's tuxedo mean?
To be honest with you, that's just the way that El Shantang, who's the king at Zealous, that's just the way he calls the dial on his website, because there's a couple. The way he does everything's kind of a limited run. I forget the number off the top of my head. There's only 250 of these that were made. He'll have a tuxedo dial, a meteorite dial. He does a lot of really cool stuff with mother of pearl as well as mosaic mother of pearl. And this is going to come up later in a segment in the show, so we'll get more into that.
Ooh, tease.
Yeah. Yes, sir. What are you rocking, Alex?
All right. Well, I today have my Aquatico, trying to get a better shot here, my Aquatico 43 mil bronze pilot.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit on the show a few times, the Aquaticos. I have it now on the blue rubber strap, and I even got the bronze.
Oh, you did finally swap the buckle, hey?
Yeah, I swapped the buckle off that brown leather, whatever that they send with it. Love the watch, didn't love that thing, so now I'm really happy with it. So, other than every time we talked about this, every time you wear this watch, you're reminded of this crown.
Oh, that crown's like a saw blade. Like it is aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes it's like women, when you see sometimes women dress up and they put on these clothes and they're working their way into their outfit and you're like, man, you got to want it, right? Like, and sometimes you look at that watch crown and you put it on and there's, maybe some blood and you're like, yeah, I wanted it.
Yeah. There's a mark on your hand from where it's been digging in all day. Yeah.
Well, and here's where I'm a great and a bad guy. I actually bought my brothers both Aquatico Pilots watches, same variation with different dials than what you have, Alex. And neither of them really wears a wristwatch. And so, the nice thing I did for them was like, here's the one watch you'll wear. It may sever your hand, but it's really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very uncomfortable when you wear it, but please wear it all the time.
Well, if you wear it all the time, like when you do wear it all the time, you get
true.
a callus within a week. It's like using a shovel. The first couple of days you're bloody and blistered, but after that you're good.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like. I would sit at a desk all day.
It's like swinging a golf club.
My hands are IT soft.
IT soft, like my feelings. All right, Smartwatch Dick, what's on your wrist, buddy?
Ah, nice.
Okay, let me rephrase. We know what's on the wrist. What's your dial today?
Okay. Well, let me just load her up here. So, speaking of merch,
because even I could say, even I've got it memorized now that Smartwatch Dick wears a Garmin V3.
There you go. Perfect. This is the Watch You Talking About special edition face. So there you go. That's readily available to anyone with a smartwatch. If you need a lesson, I can teach you how to do it. But simple. It's built it myself, kind of clean. Thought I'd support the show out in the real world. Because people are always looking at my watch.
I'll teach you how to. I'll teach you how to change the watch on your smartwatch, the face on your smartwatch too. What you do is you take it and you hit the top button 2 times, and you walk over to the garbage and you throw it in there, and then continue on with the rest of your day. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking, man.
Oh boy, I'm having flashbacks to episode 1.
Yeah, that was just funny.
I'm out. I'm out. Enough of this.
Yeah. Well, we had a good run.
I'm just kidding.
14 episodes. That was fun. I never thought we'd get this far.
That's all you had the counter going.
Yeah.
And you were seeing if we could make a record.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding about throwing the watch in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's how funny. I prepare broccoli as well. Chop, chop, chop into the trash.
I love broccoli.
Brussels sprouts. Actually, when I go to the grocery store, I walk up to the Brussels sprouts section and just grab all of them and throw them in the trash so nobody can have any because they're garbage. And that I don't care. Smartwatch, wear your smartwatch. Yeah. Brussels sprouts, I judge people for that.
I once saw a clip, and I don't remember who it was, but the guy was at like a Costco, and they were like handing out fake bacon, like vegan bacon. He's like, "Yeah, I'd love a sample." It takes right in the garbage. He's like, "May I have another?" Guy gives him another right in the garbage. He's like, "May I have another?" He's like, "No, I'm not giving you any more." And then the girl, maybe this is from a TV show. And then the girl is like, "I'll take one right in the garbage." I can't remember what that was, but anyways, I digress.
I love that. Sorry.
Oh, too funny.
You can tell my wife is away and she's home now was away and she's home now because I'm so happy. I'm just laughing. It's been a long week. So yeah, I needed this, boys.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
all right.
Awesome.
So what? Yeah, the reason we've called you all here today,
oh boy,
is to talk about Smartwatch Dick's latest obsession, wristwatches.
That was touch and go there for a second.
This week, the three of us obviously have a group chat, and this week was very funny because throughout the days, I would hear my phone going off and I would check at lunch or after work, and there would be analog watches coming in from Smartwatch Dick, and he would say, "Hey, this is a nice watch," or "Hey, I like this blue dial." And, after you get one, it's like, okay, he likes that watch. He found something, something came across his feed, on Facebook or Instagram. And then, but once you get like 3 or 4 within an hour time span, you realize like Smartwatch Dick's looking at watches. He's not just, this isn't just coming across his feed. He's shopping. Anything to say for yourself, Smartwatch Dick?
Well, shopping is a stretch. And to defend myself, I was going through the list of vendors that Jason had sent out and just kind of seeing what you guys might want to look at the timepiece show. And I really thought I was doing you a favor. I don't know. I was trying to save you some time looking around.
Yeah, poor guy's trying to help us out doing a little research because he knows we're both so busy, and then trying to do some good for the show, and it's just getting roasted for it.
Yeah, Jordan, if you want to treat it as like an Amazon wish list, I mean, like I said earlier, if I'm not against accepting watches.
I don't know, like, so I'm gonna do so let's say my brother, and he doesn't, I'm just using that as an example. Let's say my brother sending me pictures of like naked ladies. And I'm like, hey, why are you sending me pictures of naked ladies? He's like, well, I'm just sending you pictures of naked ladies that I thought you would like. But he's still got to go find them. You still have to shop. You still have to go find them.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I will switch and start sending you pictures of naked ladies.
Well, just ones that you think I'd like. Not just
wearing watches. Yeah.
Wearing what? Yeah, there has to be rules to this.
Yeah.
There's going to be a new meaning to the hashtag watch porn. It'll mean hashtag watch porn.
Didn't we go over your small secondhand a couple weeks ago?
I was in the pool.
She knows about shrinkage, doesn't she?
We're getting kicked off TV.
Yeah.
So anyways, so what's and now I'm honestly I'm done fooling around with you now, Smartwatch Dick. Here is all serious. Can't do it. I can't do it. No, but seriously. So, like, in all honesty, though, are you looking at watches because you're interested? Are you just simply looking at vendors, or are you just, like you say, are you actually just doing it, on behalf of the show, so you can send Alex and I pictures of the watches you really like?
Honestly, I was just doing it on behalf of you guys. Just looking at stuff. I mean, I've pointed out before, like, I really appreciate the beauty of the watches. I don't have anything against watches, obviously. Like I've told you, I really like that one skeletonized watch you have. And honestly, that's something that catches my eye no matter what brand. And just through the Instagram feed and all the people that I'm following and through the show, I get fed a lot of watches there that I normally wouldn't look at. So, I mean, I see things I like. I see things I know you guys might appreciate because I kind of have a sense of your style now too. So that's pretty much what it is. I'm definitely not really in the market. Maybe one day, who's to say, but yeah.
I guess the other, just another quick question, kind of off the real quick topic, because this is where if you're ever going to catch the fever, I know exactly where it's going to happen. And the three of us have had some conversations preliminary. Alex and I believe it's safe to say Alex and I will be in Toronto for the Toronto Timepiece Show at this point. Smartwatch Dick, there's been some conversation. Where are you at there? Is there any commitment to the Toronto Timepiece Show? Because I have a feeling at that one, you should probably, leave your wallet at home because you'll be in trouble there, sir.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm probably 75% in. My issue is I'm going to be in Toronto like 3 weeks before that. So, it kind of seems weird to go back right away, but that's just me being weird, I guess.
Well, and no one, yeah.
They're going to be two very different experiences.
That's true.
Yeah, and Toronto also randomly, I'm going to offend a lot of people with this, but when you walk downtown Toronto, it randomly smells like poop. And so nobody wants to necessarily expose themselves to that 3 weeks in a row. Get it?
Yeah, fair. Although if I go back later...
It's a very weird thing to be in Toronto. You're just walking along and downtown, you're like, oh, Lord.
Yeah. But if I go back, I get a second crack at the pan-seared lasagna, though, so... is it worth having twice?
And big shout out to the good people at Tavern or Mercado in Toronto, because I would cut somebody for that lasagna,
Well, before we go, we'll definitely have to send them the clips and let them know about all the guerrilla marketing you're doing for them. Maybe you can get a free crazy bread or something.
Yeah, I've sent a few people into that restaurant actually. Nobody's actually come back and said, "Hey, it wasn't good." So I'm pretty happy about that part.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I mean that to me is an impressive thing. Is what started out as just a fun thing, to make fun of Alex and I, which I thought was hilarious, anyways. Has kind of turned you into you're not just a segment on this show. You're maybe the biggest and best part of it. But also, you're starting to consider like, hey, maybe I need to come to Toronto because, my fame and notoriety due to the Watch You Talking About podcast is, second to none, and I should probably go see my public in Toronto. I think that's about how the thought process works.
That's the main reason. Unlike you, I don't have a lot of people recognizing me walking down the streets. So if I have a chance, that's the place where my people are.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I'm assuming Jason's gonna have a Garmin booth, right?
Yeah. Well, that one made me laugh so loud I muted my mic.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, it's funny because it started off as a nitpicks segment, and really, I'm excited about the segment every week because I learned so much from it. It's not even picking on us anymore. You're coming in here to give us facts that we don't sit there and go down the rabbit hole to learn during the week. We just talk out our asses when we come on the show.
Yeah, that's good. Makes my life easy.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to change the segment name from Nitpicks with Smartwatch Dick to Kicking Knowledge with Smartwatch Dick.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually thinking like the other day. I was like, at what point do we have to rename this?
Well, I mean, I'm very confident that we'll say more stupid things. So I think he'll always have ammunition, and then we could he could just go side missions with the fun facts.
I mean, let's be honest. This episode alone is going to provide him information for probably weeks that would cover episodes when we have guests that we don't screw up a lot. Because when we learned that cheat code, let's be honest, we've been riding that pretty hard lately.
Oh, like a quarter pony at the mall.
Yeah,
just killing.
Yeah,
it.
you should see my notes app when it's just the two of you doing a show as I'm watching and furiously typing notes down and timestamps to be ready for the following week. But I gotta say, I
smoking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do appreciate. Like, I mean, I'm obviously learning a lot too because this is stuff I wouldn't be delving into either. So it's good for me to learn. Like, I didn't know anything about atomic clocks before 2 days ago. So, it was interesting just to kind of flip through that and learn some stuff myself too. So just call me autodidactic.
My man. Autodidactic Dick.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's one
and
of
I
those
love
things.
that we're all doing it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that we're doing it together and just learning all this stuff and just, I don't know, it's been fun, right? Like, I think we all come to this with very different levels of knowledge and experience in watches and, and reasons for liking them. And I think it's really cool that, I don't know. It's been so much fun for me watching Rich fall in love with all the knowledge. This is why we knew this would work because I'm like, this guy's going to fall in love with all the stuff that he can learn about watches now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 2 months ago, I wouldn't even have been able to tell you what a bezel was. I probably would have known it was maybe something on a watch, but now I think I'm okay.
You would have guessed that just because who was telling you what a bezel was, right?
Exactly.
Jordy's saying it must be about a watch.
Or some kind of weird amateur wrestling ankle pick move.
Yeah.
You just got to grab him by the bezel and throw him to the ground.
When you wrote the lyrics to the theme song, you didn't know half the stuff that was being said. I'm like, sounds like watch things.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
I don't know if the watchers are going to enjoy this episode, but I sure am. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
They're part of the family. They get us.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean,
we always said we started doing this for us, so I'm having fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and I think for a minute now, let's transition into something else. One of the things I really want to talk about on this show, and I think, I'm going to catch Smartwatch Dick's eye with a couple of these things. I want to talk about some new releases. Watches and Wonders is coming up. Let's see here. We're recording Sunday, so it'll be, I think it starts Tuesday. So there's going to be a ton of new releases coming into the watch world in the next, week to 10 days. We're going to see a lot of new stuff. Tudor Watches is celebrating their 100th year of existence, not necessarily production, but actual existence. I believe, here's one for you, Smartwatch Dick. I believe Hans Wildorf registered the Tudor watch name in 1926, but production didn't actually start until the 40s, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they'll be celebrating their 100th year this year. This is also actually the 100th year of Rolex putting out the Oyster Perpetual, I believe, or the Oyster. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't mean to kind of catch you off guard here, but there's a connection between Tudor and Rolex, is there not? Like with the movements, or they were owned by the same company or something at some point?
Still. So Hans Wildorf created, so originally Rolex was actually, Hans Wildorf started, Rolex was actually in Britain. It was actually a British watch company. He was importing watches to Britain. And then what people understand, especially in today's climate, Britain threw in a bunch of tariffs. And all of a sudden, the cost on importing these watches skyrocketed. So Hans Wildorf actually moved from Britain to Switzerland to start making watches there to avoid these tariffs. So then he was making watches. He was making the Rolex. And Rolex actually is people don't understand. It's so hard. There's so much history there. But Hans Wildorf actually put out manuals on how to market. Rolex is not only a watch company. Hans Wildorf was a marketing genius. And so there are some people that will say Rolex is more of a marketing company than a watch company because they're geniuses at it. So anyways, so Rolex was always a good timepiece. Then in 1926, Hans Wildorf created Tudor as a subsidiary of Rolex so that as a watch for the everyman. It's as a less expensive version of a Rolex. Okay. So there's the original tie-in. And then when you look at a lot of the original Tudor models, they used Rolex cases. A lot of them will have Rolex crowns, like the actual crown, the signets on the dial crowns. The Submariners in particular, there's Tudor Submariners that actually say Rolex on the actual case backs. So there's a lot of similarities there. They just use usually less expensive and less decorated and less accurate movements. They were less regulated. Okay. So that's why you'll hear the phrase, and I get offended because I'm a big fan of Tudor probably, but you'll hear people use the phrase Smartwatch Dick. They'll say that Tudor is a poor man's Rolex because on a certain level, the brand was started as a poor man's Rolex. But now when you look at, with the advent of, about 2018 when the Tudor Black Bay 58 really, really blew up, since then, Tudor is invested in something called Kinesi, so they're not making in-house calibers, but they own a manufacturer that's making their calibers, which Rolex does as well. They make a good enough watch movement that Cartier bought into Kinesi movement technology. So there's a big, huge tie to Rolex, but there's also that Tudor, and I want to make this clear for all you Rolex fanboys that say things like Tudor's a poor man's Rolex. They operate completely separately. They do their own things. There are some stuff that crosses over. There's a school of thought that says Tudor is sort of a testing ground for some of the stuff they want to do at Rolex. But yeah, that's a good question because there's most definitely a huge tie-in between Rolex.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sorry. Short answer, very long. That's it.
Attaboy.
Yeah. So yeah. They're going to be releasing. I have a feeling they'll be doing some big stuff. And then something I think for Alex, I'm sure he's seen it this week because he's a pretty big fanboy of the brand. But Longines released a new Hydro Conquest diver this week. And
I have it on my screen just in case you didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I was not going to miss this. They've absolutely outdone themselves with this watch. Like it's the Hydro Conquest. I'm not going to pretend to be the world's most massive Longines fanboy, but this watch that I've just popped up on the screen here, that ice blue dial is absolutely gorgeous. What they've done with this watch is just fantastic. It's, this one in particular is 2,900 Canadian. So at the price point, the finish is fantastic. Without doing a full review of the watch and, kind of getting in what was different between the previous Hydro Conquest and this Hydro Conquest. I won't do that to our poor watchers and Smartwatch Dick, but they've got 3 different models of it, or actually 4 or 5 different models of this watch. I just downloaded 2 because the black with the, I wanted first of all to show that Melanie's bracelet, but also the black. There's a black dial that's very simple, kind of to me. What's the word I'm looking for? A little bit Submariner vibes to it, but I think it's very tough to create a dive watch that doesn't have a Submariner vibe to it in this day and age, especially if you're going to kind of keep it sort of simple. But this thing is this is an absolute banger of a watch. Truth is, I looked at it for the first 2 days. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I looked at it and it comes in 39 and 43 millimeter. So they're making it, 39 millimeter Goldilocks sizing for 42. The rest of us. 42. Hey, can you leave some work for Smartwatch Dick, Alex?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm just so excited about this.
I actually made that mistake on purpose so he could do that.
I'll edit it out.
Yeah. So, the price point on Hydro Conquest, I think the one on the 3-link bracelet's $2,900, and the one on the Milanese bracelet is $3,100. What's cool about that is when you look at the bracelet on the Hydro Conquest, it's the same bracelet is what's on the that Milanese bracelet is the same bracelet that's on the Omega Seamasters for $10,000. So there's some serious value for money packed into that Hydro Conquest.
This.
Of course, you go for the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually love the blue writing on the dial. That blue writing on the
it matches your part of it for me. Yeah. Honestly, I try to look at other stuff than just blue all the time. But this watch, like, I've been talking about Longines for a long time. I really want a moon phase.
Yeah, you're a fanboy.
I love the Zulu time. But this watch, like, even my wife and I were talking yesterday, and I said, like, they released a dive watch, and she's not a fan of dive watches. She just thinks they all look the same. So she likes other stuff that I buy and have.
Right.
But this watch, like, I don't know. I have never, ever, ever, ever wanted a dive watch the way I want this watch. Like, I haven't stopped thinking about, and everyone's talking about these watches. There's so much information out there. Like, everybody in the watch world is posting about these. Yeah. And I get it. But this dive watch, this is everything to me right now. This is all I think about. Well, like, my wife, she suggested yesterday, like, she's like, if we go see any watches, she's like, I'm in the mood to spend money. You should buy that Citizen you were looking at the last time. I'm like, no, there's only one watch on my mind right now. I can't even think about others. So,
yeah, I mean, I really like them, but I'm not going to lie to you. I have sorry, can you bring that? I'll get mine back.
Yeah, I can bring it back.
I have such why I don't know, but I absolutely love that dial. I love the bezel. I would prefer, since I've got a couple watches with aluminum bezels, I've really made a shift. I really enjoy aluminum bezels over ceramic. My real problem is why is there such a gap between the case and the bracelet? Finish it properly. Please, for the love of God, finish it properly. I made this comment on somebody else's YouTube feed, and somebody made a comment that the only people that finish their bracelets that way are Breitling. And I can honestly say that, and what I'm doing is bringing up my screen so I can kind of show our watchers the difference here, if I can get it. What the difference is to me is it just boils down to finish. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I'm looking at 10, you're looking at this watch is $8,000. Whoops, sorry. This watch is $8,000. So if you look at the Melanie, it's got the same style of Melanie's bracelet on it, but look at the finish against the case edge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly,
clean.
it's my one beef. It's my one beef on that watch. Like, and honestly, I don't even really love the bracelet. I would rather it have one of the other bracelets. I'm just not a fan of that. So, like,
right.
Yeah. So, like, as much as I'm fanboying and saying, like, this is the watch right now, I honestly, I might even want to change the bracelet almost right away.
Right.
Yet everybody that I've said that to tells me, no. Once you get that bracelet on, you're going to fall in love with it. So I don't know.
that was going to be my comment. As much as I don't love the way it finishes against the case side, once you put a Milanese bracelet on and feel how comfortable they are, the only thing that I would compare to is a Jubilee bracelet. As far as comfort goes, just the way it drapes around your wrist, they work nice.
That's what I was thinking. Just looking at it, it looks a lot more comfortable. Like it's almost like a chainmail kind of. Is that how it is? Like it just bends all over.
Yeah, man, and it doesn't flex in tight, if that makes sense. Like it'll stay. It won't fold flat by any stretch of the imagination, but it just forms and hugs around your wrist.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've had one on a watch in the past, and like not anything high end. And don't get me wrong, I did think it was very comfortable. Every time I put it on, I was like, I don't like this. And then I put it on and be like, why is this so comfortable? But so it's just, for me, it's just, I don't love the look of it necessarily.
Right. Well, I talked to the Milanese bracelet people and they don't like the look of you. How about that, Alex?
Well, that's why I'm doing this show, because I'm forcing people to look at me.
That's going to be a fun fact check when I send that email. Hey, Jordan said you guys said this.
Yeah, that's right. Smartwatch Dick has my back.
Maybe. We'll see what they say back.
Yeah, well.
Documented proof.
Yeah. I'll delete that email before you see it.
Yeah. But I mean, to not just nitpick the Longines bracelet I have more of a problem with that finish level on the Omega side than the Longines side at the price point they're at. I think that's a fair, because the finish on that watch at $3,100 is absolutely excellent. You're getting, they're part of the Swatch group, so ETA makes the parts for the movements, but Longines assembles the movements in-house, so their parts are made outside, but they're specifically the Longines spec. So to me, that's essentially an in-house movement, because there's not a lot of watch companies out there don't necessarily make their own parts, but they do assemble their own modules. So that watch, for what it is, what it offers, the history of the Longines brand, Longines has done so much for horology in their history. The Longines logo, the hourglass and wings, I believe, is the oldest trademark in the world. So yeah, things like that. The history of Longines, the watch itself, as the Euros would say, it's a cracker of a watch. There you go.
And apparently, everyone says the micro adjust on the clasp on the bracelet is just like outstanding. And I love that these brands are like, doing that more consistently finally.
Yeah, especially at the higher end, right? Like when we're looking at micro brands like Zelos, which I, couldn't bang that drum enough. When you're getting watches for $500 US with incredible micro adjustments, and then you're buying watches for $5,000 that have none or bad, it's disappointing,
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my first favorite well, it's not my favorite new release. This next new release, what I'm going to talk about Zelos right now.
You better show me something fantastic if that's not your favorite.
It's definitely not my favorite. I have no problem telling you that.
You're wrong.
You don't know anything about watches. Take a lesson, kid. So currently right now, Zelos Watches has a bunch of new releases. And quite frankly, I can't believe they all aren't sold out yet.
Shocked.
So, Rich,
I looked yesterday and I'm shocked.
Matches my shirt. I like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich, this is a beautiful watch. If you look at the patterning on the dial, that's something called, the patterning and style is called guilloche. And normally it's,
so nice.
Watches with guilloche dials are normally incredibly expensive because it's done on something called a rose engine machine, and it's hand turned. It's a very time consuming process, and very easy to make a mistake and have to start over. These are done on something called a CNC machine. So there's way less margin for error, but you can still cut the really sharp lines and get yourselves these really cool patterns. Look at that bracelet, is absolutely outstanding. This watch is 39 millimeters. It's got a Miyota 9015 movement in it. Absolute fantastic watch for $500 American. We're talking about $750 Canadian. Throw in another, let's call it about $35-40 for customs and brokerage on top of that. As much as I want you guys to finish watching this show, stop watching right now, go to Zelos.com and buy those watches because they are absolutely excellent. The value for dollar in that watch is absolutely incredible. It's where I really started out with micro brands, which is why I'm such a big fan of Zelos. And it has ruined me for a lot of other micro brands because the level of finishing that Zelos does offer with their watches. And when you look at this, I'm just going to bring up the main screen on the website real quick, which I do have permission from El Shantang at Zelos to do so. But I'm just going to pop this up on the screen really quick here, because these watches are such a wild, like, sorry, they go to, first look at the lume on these things while we're talking about it, you know? So, you know, and again, 429, that's a mother or kyanite. The meteorite one is actually sold out, I believe. Those are the old moon phases, but like, look at this, look at that red. Look, you know, these are just awesome watches. That salmon,
They
if you're
still
in
have some salmon
I-
dial. That's your favorite.
Yeah,
I'm
there's still-
surprised you didn't show us that picture.
Well, I just, you know what, if I recently hadn't bought a watch, I would actually buy that salmon one right now. But unfortunately, I've just recently bought a watch, so I can't have it. But
Didn't
Yeah,
you just
so to
say
me-
a few weeks ago that if you have a salmon dial watch, I hate you?
yeah, Alex. I'm kidding. I would not buy that salmon dialed watch.
Oh,
But if other
okay.
people like it, by all means, please buy that salmon dialed watch so we can fight. No, I'm just kidding. But to me, one of the reasons, first of all, I'm such a huge fan. I'm such a huge fan of Zelos watches. But I'm also and as I've said 100 times on this show, I'm a massive fan of El Shantang, and the watches he designs and the customer service that he provides with that brand are just absolutely excellent. I have no problem putting my name on it and throwing, you know, whatever weight it is we have on this show behind El Shan and his brand, because I couldn't be a bigger fan, period. You know, he's somebody that I would like to see at some of these watch shows. So El Shan, if you
Yes.
ever see this, please come to a watch show, because it'd be great to
Yes.
meet you and see your work, always up close and personal, other than the 8 Zelos I currently have.
Yeah, well,
So
I've got to see all of yours, and and look at them all, and spend some wrist time with them for a few minutes when we're together. And I own one, and like, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm always looking at his new releases, and I always want one, but in a perfect world, I could always buy a new release of every watch that I want, but that's not real life. So, yeah,
no,
but
no,
I'm always
yeah.
looking, always watching, because yeah, man.
Yeah. So, Smartwatch Dick, I don't want to influence you on your watch choices here, but if you were in the market for a watch, and you wanted to buy something very nice, go anywhere, do anything that you could sort of, wear with your nice purple shirt that you're wearing today, so dress it up a little bit, or throw it on with your Iron Maiden t-shirt and a pair of jeans like my man Alex, dress it down a little bit. That's a perfect place to start.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a birthday coming up or something, maybe you got a big birthday coming in, and maybe you need a new watch.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
So
maybe.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I gotta
All
say
right.
that purple one is very pretty. That's a good looking watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have good taste, and that's one thing I'll say. We were joking about you sending a bunch of watches for Alex and I to look at. What I would say in whether you're legitimately, looking at them for the show or yourself, you actually have a good eye for a watch. I'll tell you that. You have a pretty keen eye for nice dials.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And you did discover, much like myself, you are a fan of blue as well, blue watches.
Yeah, they pop out for sure. I'm definitely drawn to them. The eye is drawn to them.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd said a few watches in a row, and you're like, and apparently I seem to really like blue watches.
Yeah. I snuck a couple orange ones in there for you too, because I know you love the orange.
Yeah. No, I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
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 That's
My wife
awesome.
tells me I'm red dials, but I also really like purple for some reason. I was like, what's funny is I didn't really have a purple watch, and I had a shirt with some purple in it. My wife actually says, Wendy says, you need a watch to match this purple shirt. And I was like, thanks for the PO.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's been driving me crazy
Yeah.
for months.
Yeah. I was staring at that shirt the other day thinking, I would wear it more if I had a watch that matched, and maybe a new handbag. It's bad.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
Rich, now I'm about to let me ask you this, Rich. Have you ever heard of MB&F? A watch company called MB&F.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, MB&F stands for Max Booster and Friends. Max is, in my opinion, perhaps the greatest watch designer today. He doesn't just make watches, and not my own description, he makes horological machines, I believe is the way he puts it. Okay. Yeah, he creates basically every watch he creates is a new caliber, which means movement. So none of his stuff is like, he's not buying stuff off the shelf, generally speaking. But the watch I'm about to show you, so Max Booster's watches started about, I believe the entry point would be about 50,000 Swiss francs, which is, probably about 65 to 70,000 Canadian. So he wanted to build a watch because he had so many friends and family that could never afford one of his watches. So he made a watch originally called the MAD, MAD, and he made that watch for the people that couldn't afford his regular watches. Now, these watches are still about $6,000, so I don't make it sound like they're inexpensive, but they're not $60,000 like the most of his range. And he is now, what he does now is, because they're so popular, they sell it so quickly, he creates them on a raffle system. And the MAD 2 has just been released. And this watch is a true, I'm actually going to play the video right off the website because I'm reviewing it. I believe we're allowed to use it for copyright purposes. And if we're not, please, I'm sure we're on your radar, Max Booster and friends. Contact us and we will pull the video immediately. So yeah, this is an MB&F MAD 2. Look at this thing go. So hour hand, hours on the left, jump hour, minutes on the right. This watch is absolutely spectacular. So that's the movement spinning. So it uses a Miyota movement that'll spin both ways. And I believe, I want to say 39 millimeter, 13 millimeters thick, skeletonized, customized skeletonized rotor. These watches, to me, if you can get your hands on a MAD, you're doing very, very well. They're a very cool watch, and that just came out. So if you've got, a budget in excess of about 4,000 to 6,000 Canadian, enter that raffle and see if you can get your hands on one of those watches, because they are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, interesting. It's definitely beautiful. I don't.
That watch made my mouth water, actually.
I don't know. Obviously, I'm not the market for these watches, anyways. But I'm not a big fan of really unique dials like that. Like if it's not just hour hand, minute hand, it kind of loses me. Maybe I'm not smart enough to tell what time it is if it's not a traditional clock. But I don't know.
I mean, I think
it feels
think
gimmicky.
Okay, and you know what, man, and no one can tell you otherwise, right? That's why I love watches, because it's subjective. Like it's, but just while we're talking, I'll show you one or two more of his watches, because, I mean, I'm not trying to crap on it. Obviously, it's a beautiful watch, but it's just for me personally. If I was going to get a watch, I think, and maybe in 10 years, once you guys have me completely hooked and I've got a 200 watch box, I'll have one of those in there, but. It's not my starter watch, that's for sure. I'm not sure what level of income we would have to have. So what I'm going to show you is this is called the Legacy Machine 1. This kind of reminds me of the Christopher Ward Loco, in that the balance wheel is suspended above the rest of the movement on the front of the watch rather than the back. This watch starts at 62,000 Swiss francs. But
golly,
look at that thing go.
Oh.
Well, wait a second. No, that took a turn.
Got into your personal videos.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I'm not sure how that got in there. Yeah, apparently I really like swimming. Yikes. So anyways, that's the Mac. So these are the kinds of things. Let's see. Let's go tech specs here and get off that dirty porno. So there's a salmon dial version of one here coming up in a second. So yeah, I mean, if you look at that, small seconds on the bottom, the watch, the actual reading of the dial is the smallest part of the watch. But I would have no problem murdering one of you guys to get my hands on one of those things.
It is beautiful for sure. For the uninitiated people like me, that balance wheel would be in any automatic watch, but it's usually buried and you can't see it. Is that true?
Yeah, actually any mechanical or automatic watch would have that.
Okay.
So that thing, when you hear a clock go tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, what you're hearing is the balance wheel and the fork activating each other. So the balance wheel turns and oscillates back and forth, but that happens because of a fork that kicks it back and forth, and that's what you regulate to actually keep time on the watch.
Gotcha.
So yeah, any watch that's mechanical or automatic has a balance wheel in it, or it's part of something called the escapement, which is now we're falling down the nerd rabbit hole.
Right. We'd hate to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those. Maybe it'll come up on a different show because these are like I spend a fair amount of time just watching animations of watch movements to try and figure out how they all work. Yeah, it's a big thing for me. So yeah, that's what I've got for new releases this week. To me, one of the greatest things about watches, with Watches and Wonders going on this week, a lot of people say, what exactly is Watches and Wonders? And obviously it's a convention, of a bunch of like-minded people getting together and showing their best stuff. But for the uninitiated, I would say I would liken it to the Detroit Auto Show. Every year they have the Detroit Auto Show featuring next year's models and things like that. And it's the biggest thing in the industry. And they release the new car models basically at that show. And then that's about it for the year in the auto industry. Once that Detroit show's over, it travels around tall with people, but those are the models you're going to see for the next year. Where the watch show, there's a lot of new releases, but then through the year, brands are releasing watches constantly. So Alex and I could probably do an episode every week on just new releases. Obviously not an hour long, but there's so many new releases. And to me, it's one of the more exciting things about watches is every morning when you wake up, you can almost find something new in the watch world. And that to me is fun and exciting.
Yeah. Sure is. Yeah. So I guess this Watches and Wonders, you said, starts Tuesday. So this episode will drop the day after. So we'll be in the heart of all the excitement, I guess, of everything that's starting to happen at the show. So yeah.
For the next week, I'll be buried in the internet, just watching what's especially. I'm really excited to see what Tudor does. As I'm such a fan of the brand, so I'm extremely excited for Tudor's 100th anniversary.
Yeah. That'll be cool. Excited to see what happens this week. Be some fun conversation next week. Next week, we got one more episode before the Vancouver Timepiece Show weekend.
Oh yeah,
where we'll be. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're getting close, boys. We're, as of today, 12 days away. So I guess when this comes out, it'll be 9. Like that's to the Friday because we're there for the Friday night event as well. Yeah, it's getting so close. I'm super excited. So yeah, that was a fun episode. And we got lots of excitement coming up in these next few weeks.
Yeah, we've got other guests coming in hot. I suggest we take it home and start preparing for next week.
Yeah, definitely. That was fun, boys. I needed this laugh. Like we all kind of chatted before we started recording. It's been a hectic few weeks. Well, Smartwatch Dick had a little bit of time to help Jordan and I get through and do some research. So we appreciate you, brother, and all your support of us and the entire show and bringing in the fans with all your fantastic, awesome segments. So it's this has been a blast. So yeah, I think we finally got everything covered. Thanks to Smartwatch Dick. We talked about the hats. Check. We talked about we're working on some stickers. Check. We're talking about we're going to be at the Vancouver Timepiece Show once again. If you're hanging out, listening to us, we would love to meet all of you. Come say hi. Come find us. We should be fairly recognizable due to the cartoon selves that we show on here all the time. And if you're watching and looking what we look like, and if you're just listening on a podcast platform, hopefully you can still come find us. I'm excited, boys.
Comment, like, and subscribe as always.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be very easy to find us at the watch show because there will be like a massive crowd of people around, and to the left of that there will be nobody, and that's where we'll be.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll be the two idiots wearing these hats that we never talk about, trying to promote ourselves without saying anything. So
you'll be like the people on the streets of Vegas flicking your stickers at people.
That was awesome. Thanks, everybody. This was fun. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, guys.
And slow down, we're out of time. Same watch talk next time.